Well, hi everyone, it's Marcus and welcome to more Zooming in the Jungle Room. I am really excited today because I'm going back to my past. In the 90s, I met this lady. We actually did acting together with SA Casting and Ann Peters. I am talking to Martha Lott. Martha, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm not too bad, thank you. 1993, we first met in Pulteney
Yes.
at SA Casting. A lot has happened since then.
I think we are both a little bit different than we were back then, just
Holy
slightly.
moly.
I think I got thrown out and you got to stay.
Oh, Lordy. I remember we actually did, and there's a point to me saying this, that we actually did a TV series together. We were extras at the time.
Were we?
But we did Tracks of Glory, and it was filmed at the Adelaide Showgrounds, but Justine
Right.
Clark was the actual star of it with Cameron Daddo. So, and so obviously the reason I say Justine Clark, because she was just a kid back then, but I just saw
Yeah.
her last week doing Julia. Amazing.
So, do you know, I'm so glad that you remember that because I have been to the Royal Showgrounds quite often,
Yeah.
and I thought I know that we did, and that I did an extras thing there, and I remember it, but I've always wondered if it was in the thing for Babe. And I'm like, it couldn't be that long ago. And it was like, it was a long time ago.
It was like, seriously, Cameron Daddo was just a kid as well.
Wow.
Great. So there we go. A little bit past knowledge, darling. Hey, the reason why we're talking today is because you are treading the boards again for the final show that you're doing yourself for
Yep.
the year. It is called A Cheery Soul. It's by Patrick White. And we're going to find out all about it. So obviously you play the star of the show. Tell us, what's the storyline?
Okay, so it's about a woman called Miss Docker, and she basically gets thrown out of the home that she's living in. And this very sweet couple take her in, look after her, and then that doesn't work out. So she goes to live in a nursing home, which is run by the church, and to live out her days. But the thing about Miss Docker is that she's actually, to look at her from the outside, well, that name is A Cheery Soul. So she's, super cheery, always happy, always incredibly helpful, always there, never leaves, over helps, is absolutely nosy, busybody, narcissist, never wrong, has no filter. But from her perspective, and this is the challenging thing from an actor's perspective, I can't play her any of those judgmental negative things. I can only play the truth of who she is. And from her perspective, she's wonderful and she's always helpful and she's God-fearing, law-abiding, always there, no matter what. And so it's, but the beauty of this is that this is, Patrick White wrote this, and he was living in Castle Hill, and it was kind of, suburbia was encroaching on what was then a kind of very peaceful, idyllic, rural-ish life.
Yeah.
So I suppose it's sort of like, living in the Adelaide Hills, and there's a big paddock, or anywhere really in town, and there's big paddocks, and it's very, very country. And then slowly suburbia creeps in. And he actually knew a woman who was exactly like this.
Yeah, wow.
So Miss Docker, she helps, she prunes roses to death. She prunes tomato plants to death. She drives everyone out of the church. The lovely couple that take her in the first act, they throw her out very quickly because she's just constant. But she doesn't mean to be. She doesn't know that that's what she is, obviously. So yeah, it's very much a comment on the change of life at that particular time. And Patrick White was very much a commentator on life around him. And yeah, so that's where it stems from.
And of course, it is directed by, Adelaide's leading director, in my opinion. I just think this guy is incredible. Of course, Peter Goers.
Yeah.
You've worked with him quite a lot for many years. You've got a great partnership.
Yeah, it's going really well. I mean, there's the beauty of this was that when he was free from the ABC, sounds like he was in jail when he escaped. No, when he finished up there, there's a whole lot of plays that we've always wanted to do.
Yep.
And so it was, let's just do them, you know, why not? And things are difficult in theatre, as you know. So having the luxury of having our own venue or my own venue, and I can kind of do what I like, it was silly to not actually take advantage of that.
Yeah.
Whereas I haven't really in the past. So Goers and I haven't worked with each other. We worked with each other on Looped and then Night Mother last year, and now The Coward, and then this A Cheery Soul. But before that, we hadn't worked together for close to 20, 30 years.
Oh, goodness. Yeah, wow.
Yeah, a long time, with a show called Psycho Beach Party. And
Okay.
that was, yeah. And so now we're doing these classics.
30 years. I mean, my goodness, you must have been too.
I'm that old.
I've got my notes here. This is so funny that you just literally mentioned everything I've got written down. You know, the last couple of shows I've seen you in that Peter Goers has actually directed, Coward, Custard, amazing. And Night Mother was just monumentally moving, outrageous. But, you know, when I saw you in Looped with Chris Moss, wow, that was dynamic. That was the first time I'd actually seen Chris do any acting. But both you and him in that show were just like this dynamic kind of couple. Incredible.
Oh, we had so much fun. We're very similarly trained as well. So we were speaking the same language. We were both off book by the end of the first week of rehearsals. We had, we knew what we wanted to do. We'd kind of made a pact. We said we'd be 80% off book when rehearsal started.
Yep.
And we were. And then after the first week, we were completely lines down, off we go, let's have fun. And it was kind of no holds barred from there on in. So it was fun, really good fun.
Chris is about to be in a state theatre production, The Puzzle, which I'm looking forward to as well. I think that starts next week, something like that. I can't keep up with everything at the moment.
Yeah, I think we're running the same sort of dates because he can't come to opening night because he's on stage, which is very selfish of him.
No. I was just going to say to you, you know, obviously when you're talking about, you know, learning your lines and all that, after a show is finished, how much of the dialogue do you just let go immediately? Like if I said to you, you know, after a show finished a week later, how much of you retain in your head?
It depends on if I'm going into another show.
Okay.
Because if I'm going into another show, then it goes pretty quickly.
Yep.
But I can do some of it. I can do some of the opening lines of Grounded, which I did in 2020.
Yeah, wow.
And I could probably, it wouldn't take a hell of a lot for me to get back up on script, really. Sorry, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that word.
Whatever you want.
Okay. But no, I think most of it would stay in. Some shows you don't want to stay in your body. Some of them you don't want to stay in your mind, and you just get rid of them really quickly. But I'm a pretty quick learner, and this show has been one of the hardest shows I've had to learn the lines of, I think, probably ever.
Obviously, you're very much looking forward to playing this role, but in your past roles that you've played over however many years you want to go back, what would be one of the characters that you've played that you've really resonated with and had the most fun time of your life?
The most fun, I loved Looped, but I got really sick in the second week, and so vocally, because it was such a different voice, I was disappointed that I wasn't able to play that whole season really healthy. And so I'm hoping that we'll do it again. Grounded for me was the first show I had been in for, I don't know how long, 9-10 years or something was the first time I got back on the stage. And it was the first main piece that I had done for 13 years, 14 years. So for me, Grounded was frightening but brilliant. And I loved that show so much. And I don't know if you know, but I don't know if you saw it or not, but it's by a writer called George Brandt. And it just opened the Met's season of new work, Met Opera. It got turned into an opera.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
That's
great. So Yeah, so it's like gone, and I think, you know, there's movie stars that have got options on it so it's going to be something that you see in the future. But yeah, it's beautiful play.
Awesome. Maybe there's the return season, hey?
Oh, I'm a bit old now for that one.
Never too old, darling. Hey, so A Cheery Soul, a cast of 11 in this one. This is like a big group of actors.
Yeah, and they're beautiful.
Oh, I am so champing at the bit to see it. Cannot wait. But it's actually quite a long season as well. It's running from September 24 to October the 12th, obviously 2024. How many performances are in that season?
I think it turns out to be 18, I think. Yeah. So it's long, but it's not, because seasons used to be 4 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks.
Yep.
And they're shorter now a lot. So I think it's also really important to get word of mouth, and to have options, so we can have Sundays and you really, I'm a bit kind of annoying in that once I've gotten to opening night, it's like, right, done it. I can do it. That's it. I don't need to do it anymore. That's it. Let's go home. We've done the work, because I love the rehearsal process.
Yeah.
And as you say, like, there's 11 of us, so it's good fun.
Yeah.
But then you kind of get over that first night thing, and, you know, you're into the run, and that's when you really start finding all these really beautiful things and stuff that you might not ever have found before, because you know, the nerves have kind of, they take over in that first bit, as you know. So once it shows up and running, yeah, you can really sink your teeth into it and have fun.
Now, as we said before, this is your last performance, you know, for the year, your last show that you're on for the year. Obviously, there's going to be other shows at Holden Street Theatres. But going into next year, what have you got your eyes on? Have you got any roles that you really want to get into?
Yeah, so I'm writing 2 new works at the moment. One that's had some funding from Arts SA for its first stage of development. So I'm hoping to get that up next year. Yeah, I also, there's another really big classic that we've just secured the rights for, and that will be announced very soon. But let's just say the lead role has the same name as me. So anyone who knows theatre will know what that one is.
I love it. I love
Martha.
it.
And and so there's those 2 pieces, and then there's Goers is doing some other shows next year as well, but there's a few other bits and pieces in the pipeline that I want to try and get to, and we'll just see how it goes, really.
And look, I know you can't announce it just at the moment, but I'm sure you're going to have a run of shows during the Fringe period as well.
Yes, I hope so. Oh, good.
So, look, Martha, I mean, what an absolute delight talking to you. I'm so looking forward to seeing A Cheery Soul. Obviously, everyone watching, it runs from September the 24th to October the 12th this year. And you can get your tickets through the Holden Street Theatres website.
Yes, so it's holdenstreettheatres.com, or if people want to talk to a human being, they can call 8225 8888 and talk to someone.
And I will put the link above in the post. So yeah, get onto it, guys. Go out and support South Australian theatre, because you know what? It is world class. And I've seen many Holden Street Theatres, and I just love it. The energy, it's welcoming. It's like, you know, when you walk in there, it's like getting a great big warm hug.
Oh, thank you. Well, we love you being there, because when you come in, it's like a big ray of sunshine.
Oh, you. Martha, what an absolute delight. I will see you over the course of the next couple of weeks, no doubt at all.
Yes, well, hopefully we'll see you on opening night. We'll have a glass of bubbles after.
I will be there. Thanks so much, Martha. Okay.
See you. Bye.